Okay, we're gonna do a little look around Canva. Let me go to here. I'm gonna share my screen. So we're gonna talk a little bit about design, I suppose, and my process when I'm designing things. So there's a lot behind this as well. What is that? Spec. There's a lot behind this as well, I guess. I am a manifesting generator and I totally cut corners. I guess there's a couple of things. I think if you're making flyers, and I mean, or you're doing a website, or you're setting up a banner for your Facebook, or you're making flyers that you might post about service offerings. So anything that's kind of like you wanting to grab someone's attention. As a business operator, you probably are going to want photos of yourself in some way or capacity. So not everybody has to use a photo of themselves. You may just want to use a logo, which would be representative of you. But I think there's going to be something image wise. And so it's good to have a picture of yourself, I think. Some people just really are not going to vibe with that, and using a logo or a symbol or symbolism, and then maybe even the color and the font, and using those things that communicate, the vibe and who you are. All of these things, color and font and design, have something to do with who you are and what that brand is. So it's good to identify brand markers, of course, for your business. Like, what are your kind of core colors? What is some of that underlying message? People will look at archetypes. There's a good website called iconicfox.com where you can do, well, actually, you can read a lot about the archetypes, which is very simple. With human design, obviously, we've got all of these other ways of developing a kind of brand message, or doing the vision and the mission and the values. But yeah, it's good, I think, to link to existing information because, psychologically, or with psychology, people recognize these things that have already been imprinted, which is why brands use similar colors, and because you're already leveraging off of the relationship that might have been built with another brand who spent a lot of money on building associations. So it's good to have a concept around your archetypes and putting some colors to the archetypes. It's good to have some photos of yourself if you can. And some people will say you really need to, get at least a headshot. I have had professional photos done many times, but they often don't turn out anything like I want. It's not like that they're not like how I want. Maybe I'm not specific enough in the first place. And obviously, as I age, you have to keep having them updated. So I have a lot of photos, but they're not up to date enough. So I just kind of pull on photos that I might have taken myself. Some of them I'm not even looking at the camera properly. It's good to have a picture where you're actually looking at the camera and engaging with your audience, which I'm probably not doing at the moment because I'm probably looking at the screen instead of the camera. So yeah, it's good to, maybe you have a black and white image, something you're looking at the camera, maybe something you want a bit further back, maybe you want something where you're, on stage or speaking or doing something that you do. But with that being said, I'm sorry, yeah, this is all over the place because I'm right brain, but making a photo black and white is sometimes a way to like make something look a little bit more polished, even if it's not. Even if you've just kind of taken the photo just like a selfie, if you make it black and white and it's high res enough, then when I say high res, high resolution enough, then that's something you can get away with. So yeah. I'm she's all over the shop. Let's open up Canva and just, like, I have a million billion things. These are all projects. I've got all my resumes that I do are in here. I've got so many different posters. I did, yeah, a presentation series here called, what is that called? The Life in Flow. divine ideas, some YouTube things. I've got mood boards on here, just random stuff, random mood boards, random things that I might have used for social media. It goes back quite a bit. I've made different what do you call it? Yeah, flyers and advertisements and things. I've been making this stuff for pretty much my whole life. Like obviously Canva is something that I've just played with for a few years, but I've used Adobe like Photoshop in the past and for band flyers and things. So I have been doing flyers since I was a teenager. Not saying that I am that good at it or anything like that, but I want to step through, I guess, the process that I take when I'm going to do a design. And I mean, I can lean on, I'll click on some of the things that I've done. This was like a set of postcards I did at first when I first got into human design. I jumped ahead as she does, and I really resonate with these kind of clouds, that kind of high mind, blue sky, the pink puffy clouds. It's a little bit dreamy. We're kind of bending reality, but we're looking at the cosmos. So there's all this messaging. This is kind of like we've been talking about tarot and things lately. Like this is all still the same sort of stuff that you see and you feel, and the message that comes through for people is so much context in what you're choosing. So this is also quite feminine, it's quite yin. The script here is a little bit interesting, so it's just a little bit different, but it's not flowery. So I don't really like curls and curves in my text. I usually like to stick to something more minimal. It's a little bit more modern and minimal, but I kind of also like it to have a little bit of interest or quirky edge. So I quite liked this text, Beliza. I'll talk about text eventually as well. So what I would have done and what I'm going to show you when we pick up a brand new design is I do start using a template that's in Canva. However, I usually change it quite a bit, but I start with that because spacing is really important for clear information that somebody is not going to find too overwhelming, and that looks nice from a design point of view. So I usually like to start with a template because somebody, like there's millions of hundreds of templates in there and people have already sort of given you some good spacing options, and then it's about kind of working with your information, inserting your information, what you want to say, but kind of trying to stick as much as you can to the limitations, I guess, of the design, because sometimes that clarity and ease, it's about readability, and for people to feel like they can take a bite of your information without having to have like a whole course, if that makes sense. And yeah, so a little while ago, I was going to call it Temple of Seraphine. We've drifted away from Temple of Seraphine now, but that's, this was just something I did. Having these little icons, that was something I probably wouldn't have thought about doing, but it was, again, it was in the template. So it was good to give me a guide and a prompt of like, oh yeah, they do kind of look cute. And like infographics and little symbols are a really good way of providing clear information for people that they can see at a glance, what they might be getting when they spend the time to read the writing, because that's what you're kind of wanting to encourage people to buy in to reading what you've got to say. So that's where the design comes from. That's the design philosophy. You've got hierarchy of information. So you want the thing that you want people to read the most is the biggest. And so at the time I put Temple of Seraphine because I was thinking, I'm kind of trying to shout my brand, even though Temple of Seraphine's not the best brand. I don't think you really know what that is at a glance. So, it wasn't a super successful name, but it was something that I guess, side quest stories, telling time. But while I was going through a personal transformation, I was kind of playing with this other name of Seraphine, and I wanted to create a temple. That being said, blah blah blah, like it was more for my personal experience than really it being a name that was going to connect with other people. So, not here to talk about that. Anyway, let's go back. So I do like to use a template. Let's start with a template. What are we going to make? I'm not really sure. And I will also say that I often don't like the Canva designs. That's just me personally. I, some of these, I tend to like the slightly more sophisticated ones, but I then take it away from that place and kind of make it a bit goofy anyway. Um, so that's just me. I like to look for something more modern and a little bit fresh because freshness is a thing I do. But you know, it's good for you to understand what it is that you like. If you are more comedic and you're going for something funnier, then maybe you don't want something like snobby and modern and sleek. You might want something that has a little bit more. I don't even know. I'm just as I'm scrolling here, I'm like, is any of this funny? I don't really know if it is. But different styles for different kinds of brands. So I will talk a little bit about color. In fact, before we pick one of these, I'll go back to one of the projects I recently did because I wanted to do these small flyers or rack cards that I could pin up in some community boards locally. So I sort of knew what the shape and the size was that I wanted. So I started and I did get a template from within Canva, but I changed so much of it. It doesn't really look anything like the template. This was like a menu. It looked nothing like this, but it kind of started to give me like to keep the wording kind of broken apart and to have these sections that were different sizes. But I just wanted to point to the colors, I guess. So for me personally, this photo below, I can move this. Hang on, I don't want to lose you there. This photo. No, I can't make it big. Don't worry. You can see a little bit of it. That's actually a photo of me in a music video that I made, and so I like having that photo in there. No one can actually see that it's me or what it is, and they don't know what it is, but I know that contains a resonance and a vibration. It connects me to that occasion when I was creating something, and I was a leader in creating it. I'd written the song. I was collaborating as well. I had a whole team. I had friends there doing lighting. I had someone that did the makeup, did the hands. I had someone that made the crowns. I had someone, did I say lighting? I just had a whole team of people that I'd pulled together, and we'd hired a space, and I fucking danced around a studio, and we filmed me, and then I edited it. And anyway, big song and dance. To me, as like an individual creative with the empowerment message, I'm pulling in or I'm connecting this story into my own flyer. No one ever has to know what it is or where it comes from, but I do. And that's part of what I don't know, talking about when it's like you can intellectualize the human design information that we learn and have all of the keywords and keep referring to the keywords, and I think you should do that, and I think that is a process that you need to go through. However, there kind of also comes this time of and it's me with the two as well, like the yielding and the surrendering to the intuition and the vibration of who you are and what you are, and all of that intention that goes in when you're creating something. You're bringing that intention into what you're making. So I think there's things going off in that chat at the moment around Rachel. You were just talking about writing a job description for the Manny, and that's what anything that you make and do and write and create is. You are creating that intention and that putting that energy of intention into what you're making. So, as well, that photo, I like the colors because I have an archetype of the magician behind the work that I do. The magician has a lot to do with health and healing. The magician is also like the Disney kind of fantasy, otherworldly, cosmic kind of theme as well. And it's kind of blues, which you'll see kind of on my website is a lot of blues. But it's leaning into these kind of purple colors, and then with the pink it's quite feminine and it's got that lover energy. So I definitely have the magician and the lover as my kind of archetypal themes, and so these colors are connecting that archetype of the magician. Let go and feel good. We all know what this catchphrase is. It's the open spleen. And I have held on to that little phrase for, I don't know, the last couple of years because it really is part of my core transformation. Sorry, now I'm not trying to drag you into my story. So I need to I'll try and claw myself out and get back to the design. But why I do want to connect this is because we looked at that other flyer and I had Temple of Seraphine as my big text, which was like my brand at the time, the name, but didn't really mean much or say anything. So I thought for this flyer that I wouldn't make Natural Flow Alchemy my big words. It's actually only down in the .com site down there. And I decided to make my big words the words that I wanted to try and connect with those people who might want to, let go and feel good. Stop holding on to things that are no longer serving you, and how are we actually gonna, feel healthy and in good vibes, in good vibration. So that's why I wanted to lead with that. For right or for wrong, it's a test. It's all a play. So I wanted to bring in the yin yang symbol because I wanted to use symbology so that people would instantly recognize yin yang, dark light, black white. It's universal. And then these little koi kind of fish came up. And I was like, I quite like the fish because it's part of the flow story. So, so the image there, it's kind of showing that the dance and the flow between shadow and light. And keeping things really simple in terms of only having these 3 lines is hard. It's not that easy. She's got a lot to say. What the hell is she going to say? I'm not going to say that I got it right. But it's what landed on the page. And after, leaving it and working with it over the course of a few hours, I kind of let things come to a point and be like, okay, it's done. We've got to move on. I wanted to get them printed. It is what it is. This is the window of time. This is what's happened. So again, that's why I was a little bit cautious to share the flyers, because I was like, there's no point in nitpicking this. I have really been through I've been through it. Everything that everybody ever says about me and what I can say in my chart, I've listened to it, I've heard it, it's all in here, it's all part of the vibe. I definitely went back and listened, paid attention to speaking to my line 4s, my fractals. Sorry, again, I'm talking again about myself, but I haven't stopped talking about myself, sorry. The 4, it's by example, I'm trying to show you what goes into it. The 4 and the 2, I'm speaking to the 4 and the 2 with my fractals. And again, it's like the big thing that I'm looking at connecting people is maybe it's not getting into the nitty gritty of my gates or the definition and that, but it's that open spleen, open ajna, open head, open will center. And I'm sort of so I'm speaking to my fractals and I'm speaking to my openness, and then where I can, I touch on my splits and I touch on my hanging gates in open centers. But I can't necessarily get it all in words on this flyer. The line 2 and the 15 is there, dance with the rhythm of your soul, release attachment to fear. And this is also like the choice about these three things is also connecting to the people who I have been doing readings for. So all of this information that we have about like, the keywords and who we're trying to attract, it's also blending that with who am I really seeing, who's really showing up, who have I had experience with, what are they telling me? And it's, having that be a big thing about like which parts of the human design language I choose to put on the flyer. Of course, I wanted to have something that had the human design kind of graph on it because some people may have heard of human design before, and they'll recognize it. And, maybe can also be intriguing in terms of, they can see that it's a bit of a body, or what are those shapes, or what are those, numbers, without it getting too crazy. Unique healing for transformation, unique individual. I think healing is a big word because people usually connect with it. Like my own people are often looking for healing, or they want something to be healed. And we're talking about like, what we do with our people is taking them through a transformation that we've already had. Well, I didn't really have space in this round, space, time, capacity to get in 111 on the clock right now, to get into what the transformation is necessarily. But on the next page, we go a little bit more into that, but I wanted to mention transformation because that's what it's about. So we get down to this back page, and okay, so here's some design tips. How long have I done this? No, just no design tips. But when you upload a photo, and you are, let me go up here to text colors, document colors will come up. So if I've added photos here, you can go to, so yeah, if you click on, say you've put a word in there, black, white, gray, whatever, red, you can highlight it and then go up and click the text color, and then the menu here, obviously you can go in there and you can use this little dropper to eyedrop a particular color that you might like from whatever pictures and things that you have in your design. But you can also go to photo colors, and Canva just will pick out 5. They only pick out 5 of the kind of main core colors. When you are doing designs, you usually will try to stick to a smaller palette. So, a maximum of 5 colors. Now, there are many caveats to that, but it's a reasonable thing to be aware of. And if you can see, there's a light and there's a dark, and then there's, the ones in between. And so depending on what goes on in an image, you're going to get, a dark color, a light color, and some mids, or, it'll pick complementary colors. So even if you have a photo and it really does have like 18 different colors in it, it's going to give you in this little photo colors section, it's going to give you a dark, a light, and a couple of mids and some contrasting colors that will give you an idea of, just the 5 core colors of your picture. So I pretty much stick to using the colors that have been pulled out of my image here as the text colors here on a black background. I wanted it to just be a little bit striking. That's why I like the black. Working with different fonts for different reasons. Obviously for lovers, I spoke before about only liking, particularly I like modern and minimalist text. So which is straight up and down, without sort of flowery embellishments in the text. But for lovers, lovers is a flowery thing to say. Also like feel lovers. They have a tone to them, and so the font is kind of mirroring the feeling behind how you know, and this, I wanted something optimistic. So if you can see the font that I was looking for, which was hard to find actually, because my signature like whoop, like runs right off the page if you do signature analysis. I am ridiculously optimistic, so I can't write on a line to save my life. And I was trying to find that, but anyway, let go. It's kind of a little bit vintage, a little bit like funky writing. That's again, it's a little bit different to what I usually do. I usually have this like straight up and down, and the straight up and down is also a little bit more masculine. So it is kind of, I've talked in the past about speaking to the masculine, although I have quite a balance with the one and the two there. So it really is a feminine masculine balance. So I kind of can lean into the feminine colors and stick to the more masculine text, uh, modern minimalist, but a little bit of embellishment because I wanted to emphasize somehow like let go and feel good. So that's kind of like how that moves. Um, and yeah, keeping things tight. So edit, edit, edit. That's why it's good to start with a template because it's going to say, hey, don't use any more words than this. Now, if you really, really choose to disregard that and you want to write, like, I mean, this is also a lot of text. This is still a lot of text, really, for a flyer. Again, I always break the rules, but I wanted to write about myself. She always wants to talk about herself. But I wanted to back up, I guess, what I'm doing for somebody that might be like, who the hell is this girl? Because that's what people will do. Not me. I put total trust in vibration, but a lot of people aren't like me, and I have to recognize that. I mostly do courses and pay people money who I just really vibe with and things align. I almost hate fucking certificates. In fact, yeah, I just roll my eyes if if you list too many credentials on your thing. I'm like, so what? I'm like, so what? You really think all that matters? Anyway, so hierarchy of information. I wanted to put human design plainly. Human design's not really like my business name and whatever, but human design for love is, again, if there is somebody coming along and they've heard about human design, they're curious about that specifically, then those symbols and that words are there for them to know exactly what I'm using. And again, I've put the mandala there. So there's a bit of that repetition, I guess, in terms of, we're going to look at this chart. This is the chart we look at. And then keeping things in the threes, 3, 6, 9, this magic sort of numbers. So there's 3 tags on the front, and I tried to target results or outcomes or what people would receive. I sort of ended up having all of those words where I've written results here. At one point I had what you'll receive, and at one point I had outcomes, and then I made it results, which is, I want people to feel like they're going to come away with something. That's what I want. I want people who feel like they're going to come away with something, because if they feel like they're going to come away with something, they're going to come away with something. You feel? Recognize your talents and gain confidence. So that's at line 2. I also had words in there like haven't been seen, or your unseen talents, or something, or bring sight to, but I ended up just cleaning it up. Sometimes less is more. Identify and overcome what trips you up again and again. So that's my way of saying the straw that broke the camel's back, right? That one thing that you keep overlooking. That's my way of saying that in a way that's kind of, I don't know, relatable, or a little bit more like Australian. It's a bit more laconic. If I wrote the straw that broke the camel's back, I don't know if people would really get it. So I've wrote what trips you up, because that's kind of something that I feel like I say, or I hear people say. Make decisions free from anxiety, stress, and confusion. Now, maybe confusion might have been the wrong word to use. but I don't know, people get confused. Anything head or crown, whatever, I'm just like, just tuck it in, it's fine. Little photo of me trying to be serious. Again, that's the using the black and white to try and clean up something that is just a selfie of me in the backyard. I've removed the background. So that's what's good about Canva, the pro version. You can remove the background, so which I've done. Oh, hang on. Show original image. See, there's a background. Anyway, you don't need to know that, but there is a background remover. Okay, so now, I don't know how long this has been, but let's go back to a new design, create. We'll just go through, it's like just do another rec card. Okay, so this is actually what I used to start my one that we were just looking at, Peach Kitchen. So I kind of like the vibe of the peach too. I have a song called Fuzzy Peach. But it was a diet, it was a menu. Now, yeah, mine doesn't really look anything like this, but I think I did like this font actually. This font, Glacial Indifference, is one of my set branding fonts that I use. So I liked it because it's straight up and down, yeah, quite minimalistic. And I thought I liked the vibe of having something around the edge, but keeping it really focused with the middle stuff. So just say I'm going to go ahead and use this again. So now in Canva, this is a good place to start, and we can start moving things around from here. Again, I don't want text exactly like all of this, but I liked how they were in 3 sections. So you can see what I ended up doing there. I just actually got rid of the numbers because I was like, oh, I don't really need the numbers. I don't really know exactly where this is going yet, but I might just bring these things in a bit closer. And you can see as you start to move these around as well, like they're going to give you the measurements. So it's like, okay, they're all 0.323 away from one another. So you can move this stuff around and it's telling you that it's even. I liked how it just had the email simply down there. So I just put my website rather. The colors are totally wrong. So that's where I started to get rid of and put something else in. So you can see what I've used there. Just ignore all the photos of myself in here. It can't be helped. It can't be helped. But if, you were in your own Canva, you would have a number of images. And I would say that's like what I was saying at the beginning of this, how there's a lot behind this stuff. Like I'm a photo collector. I'm a Pinterest person. Obviously, I'm doing design and I've had music videos and things. So I have so much on hand that I don't necessarily need to go looking for things. But yeah, you might have to spend some time just collecting images. And in the past, I have paid for like Adobe Pro like images or whatever, photo stock images. And I have a few photos and I spent way too much money and I've spent a lot of money on a lot of things that are useless. But it kind of like gives me a lot to work with. I'm gravitating towards one of these photos. So I can actually just dump like 3 photos in at a time. I just clicked on all those photos. Because I'm sort of not sure what I want to use yet. So that's kind of like a piece of fabric or something. That's also fabric. These are very dreamy. Here's some wings. There's an aerial view of like a canyon. That's really nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I like the canyon view. Pink colors. We're really in the lover vibes. So I'm going to just stretch this one out. It doesn't matter that it stretches off the page. I'm cool with that. So you can see now it's kind of like gone over, like it's under these things, but it's over the other part. So I'm going to go with this big image. Now I've just stretched it out, highlighted. I'm going to go to layer and I'm going to send it to the back. Okay, I really like this little wing thing. I've decided these are the ones I'm not going to keep. So I'm going to go to this front page now, the orange, and I'm going to go up to the color, and I'm going to go to the photo colors of the canyon image at the back, and I might choose the light one. You're either going to choose the dark one. Ooh, the dark one's nice. You might play around with these. Now, I like the midtones, but if you want your writing to stand out, you might want to go either with a darker one with the white lighting, or you might want to go with the white one with the darker lighting. But this is not my favorite color. But again, let's see what's effective. What is effective? You know what? I just like the dark one. I really liked the dark color. And so I do a lot of this manifesting generator stuff where I'm just mucking about. I don't know, it might be a bit intense to use. See, I could use a color font, but I think the white font is maybe a bit clearer. Okay, so there's two, again, this is trial and error, so I'm not going to decide yet. I'm going to sort of sit on it, but I'm going to even it up. I've decided to use this kind of slightly off-white, which actually belongs in the feathers, the wings. So it's not exactly relevant to this image, but I'm just going to drag this across. I don't know what to do with this one. Maybe I'll just use this for this background. I'll just size that, layer it, I'll just put it to the back. But I want to try and make them go together, so I'm gonna, oh, what happened there? We don't want all of this stuff is gonna change too, so I don't know, man. Is there a way to make that? So I'm looking at this and I'm like, I really like that color and I like that, but the edge looks really harsh to me. Border weight. What's that? Oh, there's a, ooh, maybe a border's good. Sometimes I strangely like use the numbers that are like, and I think about the human design gate. 9 point, like the size of the font is 9.1. I'm like, yeah, it's the focus. So what are we gonna call this? Maybe I will say natural flow alchemy for this one. I don't really need, personally, I don't need this, but you might have a logo that you're going to put in. Let's just put in a logo anyway. I'm going to put in like a snake. I have used this before. So I just clicked on this little black snake, which I know I like. It doesn't necessarily fit in this thing, but I've kind of got it clicked and I'm going to change it to the maybe, ooh. All right, I'm going to use one of the mid colors because it's not really that important. I'm going to get rid of that piece of text. I'm going to change, I can already see, I'm probably trying to share that top space with the snake. So I might put natural flow alchemy like to the side, and then the snake kind of, what I'm seeing as I'm doing this is that maybe I'm trying to make these two things sort of fit together in a cool way. And I can actually highlight the words and go here to the spacing and stretch out the line spacing, and then I can move this, and then it kind of fits the body of the snake. Maybe I'll just move it in. Who knows? You know, some you win some, you lose some, and it doesn't really matter along the way. So I'm going to group these together so that they kind of stay in relationship and they stay in the middle. I'm not sold on the colors necessarily. So some of I have a brand palette, so you can see this. This is my brand palette. It's almost like null and void at this point. I might have to, I don't know, I've been on this for ages because I don't really use these colors anymore. But I don't know, I kind of like that. All right, so now we have our, I'm probably going to run out of time soon because I talk about myself way too much. But again, I'm wanting to kind of keep this lot of 3. I'm going to put in whatever text I want. You know, choose your own adventure. You do you, boo. Empowerment. Could probably just move that closer. I'm just making this up. Empowerment, empowerment, empowerment. That's all I can think of at the moment. Empowerment, empowerment, empowerment. Let's just go support. Well, why the hell not? Maybe let's just write sharing. I don't really like. That's not even me. I don't share. Even though my 33.3 should be sharing, I guess. Now, just along the way, that would not work anyway. I do not like that. So, I mean, if you were going to have these words, if you were, empowerment would need to come down here because we're trying to make it just looks weird having that big word at the top. But it looks weird just having words anyway. I don't like sharing. So what am I going to write there? Again, this is not real. I'm just... Also, I think this should be down there. Do you even need a third one? Ugh. I don't know. Something's gone horribly wrong. You don't necessarily... That's the thing, right? Like, as you're doing this, like, you don't... It's just about looking. It's looking at what's working or what's not working. Something is wrong. I want 3 things here. You can use this little duplicate double button. So, you know, I deleted one, but I was like, I probably did delete one too many. So you can just go up whatever you want and duplicate it and then just move it and just keep following. I don't know, vision. I don't want to get stuck, so just don't judge me on that because I just don't think that's right. But you kind of get what I'm doing. It's all about balance and hierarchy. Whatever you want to be big, and if it is your brand that you want big, you know, have it there, or maybe you have a catchphrase or something like that is big. You might want your symbology or your pictures, your imagery to conjure up something that, you know, you relate to or you want your customers, clients to relate to. So feminine energy with the snake. She's a dancer. She's a protector. She's protective. And yeah, there's a lot of energy in the snake. If you want to put a photo of yourself, back over to uploads. I'm gonna use this photo, guys. Sorry. It's kind of like, I don't know, I like it. I like it. She's out in the wild. I'm killing bears in the river. This power stance. And the thing, this is what I bring into the work that I do, because I know myself. Oh, that was probably already grouped. Um, 34 is my pearl. So in Gene Keys, the pearl is all about, it's kind of like your beacon for what is your big beacon in the world that you're wanting people to respond to, that is going to draw them in, and then they're going to get to see your brand, which is your sun sign, your sun conscious sun is your brand, which for me is 33.6. So it's a storyteller, but it's mindfulness as well. So meditation, mindfulness, and that. So power stance. Look at these fucking Jupiterian legs. Sorry, but there's also a bit of cleavage there, which wasn't on purpose. It was just like I'm actually getting too fat for all my clothes. She's expanding. Yeah, and then you put your website there. So what I'm trying to, maybe I'm hoping that I've demonstrated something here. What is that? What is that color? Looks like a very deep musky purple to me. So when I clicked on that and hit the color, I've going over here, and if I open up the swatchy thing, I don't want to change it. I'm just kind of looking like what tone does it sit on, and it is this really, really deep kind of like violety purple. So again, we're in that purple alchemical magician realm of the alchemist. Really earthy, still lover vibes with the pink and the peach. Very feminine with the snake. We've got the power movement. There's the rule of 3 in there, and a website. So I think that looks pretty good. And then we've got this kind of second page. If you turn over again, I don't even know if I really need this butterfly picture. So now that we're looking at this page, maybe I would just minimize that again. I might, like, this is kind of what I did in the last one, I guess. I'm going to bring this layer to the front so I don't lose it, even though it doesn't matter if I do, because I'll just pull it in again. Can I just shut that? What are we going to do with this? So what I could do, I'm just going to get rid of a little bit of this. It's a bit too much. Maybe I'll bring in an element like a heart, maybe like a heart shape that I'll put the butterfly in. So again, I think of, hang on, maybe if I write the word frame, because I want to frame. So here frames where it's got the little picture of the cloud, and this is in elements, frames in elements. See all. I'm going to get all these shapes, which I could then insert a picture into. So I'm already kind of aware of the things that I like, gravitate towards, or things that kind of match my brand. And now all I have to do is drag, hold. So I've picked up the image by holding down the mouse, the left clicker, depends what your settings are, but I'm holding down and I'm dragging it without releasing it, and then I'm holding it over the heart until it picks up. So I still haven't released the mouse, and then I can release it once I see that it's picked up. So I kind of like that's quite pretty. I don't know what am I going to write here? I don't know, because I don't really know what this fly is about. Let's do human design for lovers again. Don't need to reinvent the wheel. So add a text box. I'm going to write for lovers. I've taken off livers, lovers. Time is it? For lovers, and I'm going to find that text that I already found. Isn't this one? I don't know, but that'll do. Maybe I'll make that one of these peachy colors. Because again, it's kind of about hierarchy. I'm not saying that I've nailed it or I've gotten it right, but it's like, it's for lovers is not as important. For lovers is for people who have stopped and to look at the at the flyer, and they're like, guess I'm a lover. It's like it's a detail that they look at after they've picked up either on the whole imagery as a whole. Maybe it's my power stance photo. Maybe it's the big text that I've chosen at the top. Maybe it's just the colors, which are part of that archetypal brand, which connect to like the whole vibe. Um, Keeping things simple and then them directing people to a place where they can get more information. The flyers, it's about, drawing attention. So again, even though I've been deleting parts of this template, I'm sort of sticking with the size of things and trying to stick with that hierarchy. So I might, this is where I kind of, at this point, you can see here how I would have just put results in there. Now I still haven't changed the color, but I might say, this is gonna save your life. Results, like my creative brain finds it hard to pull on the facts of human design while I'm just waxing lyrical. So can't think of anything specific to write to do with human design. But I, have written other things like nurturing your network, nourishing relationships, nurturing your network, nurturing your natural gifts, nurturing natural gifts, nourishing relationships. Now, I could definitely put more words on here. This is this is dinner. What else? Okay. Again, it's just, you kind of have this concept of you might want 3 things to say. Learn more about us. I'm just gonna copy this whole thing down here and paste. I'm going to go here up here. Less is more. But in saying that, you could put a photo, or like was actually on the flyer that I spent more time on. You're actually writing a little tiny bio or a little bit of what you've learnt or achieved. I don't like the certification thing, but that's just me because I don't have many, because I left all of my certifications before I was finished. Because I was like, yeah, I know enough. Goodbye. Yeah, so I don't really know if this has been helpful at all, but it can give us something maybe to move through. Like, we haven't changed these colors either. One of the things we talked about was hierarchy of information, having your brand kind of colors connecting to an archetype. Within Canva, there's not a lot that you need to know, but I always talk about it's just patterns, so I've got a stock of imagery that I know what it means for me, like what I get out of it and what I'm conveying with that image. So like, the butterfly wings was kind of like transformative, but it's yin energy. It's delicate, it's beautiful, it's beauty. And yeah, the snake, I have a snake tattoo on my leg, actually. I would probably put the website in again there, so you can just use that little plus button, duplicate it, use the little grab tool, grab it, bring it down. Maybe I'll put it there. I don't know. I'm not saying, I don't think I'm going to use this. I don't know what I'll use it for. Maybe I'll spend more time and fix it up. Because I just really couldn't be bothered working out what information to put on it, just for example. So yeah, hierarchy of information, like know what your font types are, I guess. Let's see, I really don't know if this is gonna run out, so let's download a PDF. So it's good to download it just to, I don't know, something happens when you export things and you're like, oh, I see this thing that I didn't see before. I don't know why it's like that. But yeah, just download it quickly. Ah, look at that. Look at that. See how there's like a white line? I didn't even expand the color up to the edge. So that's something I didn't see before. That type of thing. You know, hierarchy in terms of color, like the natural flow alchemy kind of orangey, peachy color. It's not as bright. So it's less, even though it's big, the bright text is a little bit more focused. So the bright, bold headings and then the information below, it's that hierarchy. It's still in the bright white, but it's smaller and it's not bold. So it's kind of telling you what to read first, what's most important, what stands out. And then, yeah, I need to go back and fix that. So I can just close this. And then, why does it say baked salmon? Ah, that's because that's the name of the, so you change it, look at that. Boink. This here, natural flow yin rack card. I'm gonna just, before we go, there's a third page. So because I have a pro account, I do have a few things set up. I have my brand stuff set up, which again, I change all the time, but I have a few like heading, subheading, and body. I think body is that darker grotesque. I quite like this font. So it's kind of about going in and seeing what fonts you like and having them on hand and getting familiar with them. That's pretty straightforward. I quite like this. I think this is Vasali's. I find that a good, it's kind of a bit posh because it has, well, it's a little bit like kind of deco. Yeah, it is a little bit deco because it's kind of got the thick and then the thin, the thick and then the thin. So it's a bit like, I don't know if deco is the right word, but it was commonly used in the Art Deco period. What is this one? Laura. Nice stuff. This one has a little bit more edginess on it. I don't know if I actually use that as much. So Oswald, I quite like. Glacial Indifference, definitely one that I've used. So you can see like there's a bit of variation there. This is kind of a bit wider. It's a bit fatter energy. This is a bit squarer. And then this is a bit longer and I think a little bit more elegant with the mixture of like thick to thin. I've got my color palette there. I've got, yeah, don't worry about that. It's not even that. I don't even have a brand logo. So if you were gonna do a brand logo, oh yeah, that's right. I put in the, I did put in the snake. But you know, I like, okay, let's do this. I'll just do two of those. I'm gonna use this. God, what's a brand name? Shout out Marissa. It just came into my head. I don't know. I don't know. Why do I like this? But it's like a weird, it's kind of weird. But I just blow up something on the page and then I start to play with it. Like Okay, does that look good? Does that look good? Does that look good? I don't know. Does that look good? Does that look good? That I don't know if this looks, that's the thing, but I don't give up right away. Um, I'm not sure where it's going, you know? Okay, so maybe what if I made that a bit, what if it just kind of was rising up from the bottom of the page, getting lighter at the top, but it wasn't like, didn't look like a big pimple. What if it didn't look like a big pimple? Maybe it looks less like a big pimple. Now, then I might go in here and I might edit it. Maybe I'm not sure if this is the right red. Maybe I'll try a rose. Now this is very manifest degenerate. This is shortcutty because I didn't know what color I was going to make it. Maybe I can turn the intensity off. I am literally playing around to see what I might like. Now, because I've used a graphic that's in Canva, I didn't actually like make, I don't think I can, yeah, I can't actually change that color to anything I want. That's why I had to go into the filters and look at the filter. So I go into the edit button and I can see all, and I can sort of play with the different filters that go on the original color, but I don't, I can't actually like make it, doesn't look like, I can't make it yellow. These are just filters on the original, if that makes sense. But it was just, you know, something that gets me started with something that kind of looks cool. So what else, what do we think we want? Maybe we want angel wings. Again, I have things that I know that I like. He's kind of cute. Sorry, Marissa, because I don't really know exactly what your brand is. I just think you're very sweet and I think you're an angel, so maybe I'll put it in the middle because it's kind of cool. I don't know about this text anymore because it's my kind of text, but I don't really know if I'm suddenly like, oh, if I'm doing this with someone else in mind. Whoop, that's just too small. Yeah, someone else in mind. And yeah, it puts me in interesting because I'm like, okay, well, I talk about this on the fly. There's something I see with Marissa. I might be wrong. Again, I'm just making things up as I go along. Play fair display. I've used this before. This has, to me, this has a slightly more, I don't know, approachable. There's something about my stuff is like a little bit unapproachable. Does that make sense? This, it looks a little bit more like I might see this font or this text. I kind of like the blending vibe. I wonder if I can, so there's a little transparency button. So now oh, maybe I can make the wings a little bit transparent. Oh, and kind of put it behind. So then I mean, is this religious? I don't know, sorry. But now I'm just making a design for no reason. I probably do have photos of Marissa in here too. Let's get out of the angels. Let's go to uploads and let's do this. Well, you can have this one too. BG remover, background remover. So I'll just get rid of that. No, not everything removes background super easily. That one worked quite well, so I knew that already. So again, I can't change the colors because it's an image, but I can go into the filters and maybe find something that I like better for this design. Heatwave, that's cool. I was thinking to go black and white, but I kind of like this a bit more muted feminine. I'm just trying. Yeah, no, it needs the color. So we'll stick with that. But I'll put it down the bottom because I don't want it to compete too much with my little wings. And then let's put in another text box. But we want something. Maybe we'll use no. Darker grotesque. Maybe roboto, no. Again, I'm gonna be running out of time soon. Sorry if you're like, this is terrible, don't do this to me. I'm gonna be here for too long trying to find something that I think is good for Marissa. I guess I'm trying to find something that is a little bit. Oh, I really have made it look like a Jesus pamphlet. Sorry about that. You're just an angel. Maybe I can filter these and make these like a blue. No, it's still looking too Jesus-y. If I actually share this, I'll be very surprised. I'm kind of getting tired now. When in doubt, Helvetica is a very commonly used font. This is why it's good to start with a template that you like, because then you're going to get the font type, and somebody would have already gone to the trouble of finding fonts that are going to go together well. So this is me, not having any plan and not having anything on hand. I always say analysis. See what I mean? Like, so starting with a template is just does so much work for you because it's already going to give you what fonts you might like to work with, and then you can bring in the things that you're familiar with, or the things that you've used before, or the things in your brand package. But text. Everything needs to be at least 10 big, 10 points. This is kind of like not doing my rule of thirds thing. But, what's going on here? There's a lot of things going on here that aren't very good. I would make that a bit smaller. And what I see happening is that there's actually no, like, border. So if I click the outside, I'm going to go here, and there's a border weight. I can just, that's dramatic. Well. And see what happened there? See what happened? No one, people are probably like, what the fuck are you doing? But then maybe we can, I like how that's like, I made the wings transparent. So now we have these kind of like transparent wings over that radical black thing, but we'll need to change. Now that's kind of getting a bit lost, isn't it? If I make it bigger, maybe I'll make it smaller. We need something that's going to, it's not easy if you're trying to put text over black and white. It's kind of crazy because you're not going to see that text very well. Depends what you want out of life, you know? Do you really want to read the text on your flyer? I don't know. So this is how I play with things. I better round it up. I don't know if this has been recording. So we'll see. All right. Bye, everybody. No, it is recording. Okay, I was like, oh shit, it hasn't been recording. It can't have much longer. I feel like I've been talking about ages. Anyway, that's kind of what I ended up with. So it's a bit of balance. It's kind of got weight with the size of this being bigger at the bottom. So like if it was this big, it looks fucking stupid. So it's about the weight. Like you can have, yeah, it doesn't need to be too small. If it was going to be that big, then I'd need to make some more room because you need to have rest, visual rest. So where you have big things happening or you're drawing your eyes. So here we're really seeing the wings more than we're seeing the words. So if you want people to be like, think angel, then that's going to work. If you don't want people to think angel, then that's a bad idea because they're going to think angel. Maybe I liked how that goes across, but it is tricky with the font color. So, you know, maybe you just, I don't know what, see what I'm doing? Let's go to the photo colors. I was thinking that I'd get these photo colors to come up, but it's not going to bring those photo colors up. I was like, we can't use that same little trick that I had. But what we can do is zoom in more, and then I can go here to add a new color and I can use the eyedropper. And then now I have that peachy color, which is a terrible color for that. But maybe we do it again and I can go in here, get that a bit darker. I don't like it either. I get the gray. What about this kind of peach? But anyway, you can sort of see you can, oh my God, I've lost control. I didn't really like a lot of those colors. It still has because I've just used it in the same row, it's still got all my original same colors in there. Maybe I'll just make that fit. It needs to be a black. I don't know if it was that big before. It needs to be big because I think it needs to have that weight. And I'm wanting it to cover the corners so it's kind of like cohesive. I can't remember how big it was before I changed the size of it. If you're gonna have, like, that border is just crazy. It's good to have things not all the way to the edge. And maybe we don't want that. So this is what I do. This is what I do. I stop knowing what I'm doing. This is not even. Okay, that's even. You know, you win some, you lose some. It's not too bad, but it's not too good either. Looks wonky to me. Yeah. So yeah, if you're gonna have a title, actually that font is larger. That's why, that's weird. Let's make that 14 and this needs to be bigger. That's again our hierarchy was out. So if we want the title or the heading to be bigger, because I'm trying to fit the wings in. It's an iterative process. Maybe I'll make that even smaller. If you think about this, this is the size in actual fact is, where does it tell me what the size is? I think when I go out of here I can see how big it is, but it's something like it's similar to this size. So it looks very tiny on this page, but by the time, like if it was printed out or if it was shown somewhere, it's actually quite sizable. So I think you'd probably want more words. And that's it. It's about shifting things around, you know, playing with the colors, making sure that you can read the writing. I like things that have a little bit of pattern in it, but you know, just come up with some design. Use the elements, play with some of the things that are in there. Just search for different stuff. You know, what else could you use? Like why am I in this mood today? You know, you put a little Cupid on there. That's cute. That makes no sense. But you know, if you wanted to put that in there, and again, like I'm drifting off the topic really, but you're looking for it to align in terms of design, you're wanting things to align. So there's a rule of thirds and there's a rule of halves. Something's going to look good centered or off to the side where you can put something beside it or next to it. You're looking for the relationship between images so that there's a certain type of balance or relationship between them. This is just coincident that the Cupid is a similar color to this. It's totally a coincidence. But you could, you know, you're just doing what you're gonna do. You can, again, you go back to not quite like that color, see what we can do. We can make it blue. We can make it green. There's not a lot we can do because we can only change the filter that's on it. But I don't want it to draw too. Anyway, this is crazy. I don't know why I'm putting a Cupid there, but I'm just trying to say, like, if there are other elements that you are bringing in, it sort of like changes things. So it's just about bringing things in and then playing with it. You know, he can kind of fall off the page a little bit, be a bit outside of the border. He's kind of just on the edge there. That makes sense. I'm not explaining this very well. I'm going to do more design videos and I'm going to explain things a little bit better. But I'm just moving things around. You know, what else can we put in there? I don't know. That'll do. That'll do. That'll do. Maybe what are the lines? Oh, you can put a bow in there. Tie it with a bow. It's Christmas. And then I'm gonna go into the filter and try and make it go. You'll be like, what is it? What do you mean? And then I'm gonna make it stretch all the way to the edge, so it's like we're taking this home. Is that even, oh, there. Okay, this is getting out of control. It's absolutely no relevance. But I suppose what I'm trying to show is that, you know, you just kind of shift and move things around. You play with the colors, you see how they're going to go together. You're keeping your color palette sort of simple. You don't want too many more colors than 5. You want a dark, you want a light, and you want some mids in between. If you're using images, photos, or elements, then you can't change the colors, but you can go into the edit and you can put a filter on them. If you're putting a photo of yourself in there, you can go ahead, you can remove the background if you need to. With the background remover, it's just going to scan it. Not all photos work the same way, so that mandala worked a lot better than another mandala that I tried. Oh yeah, it's taking me out of the water. I don't know, maybe that's better. It's kind of weird though because my feet are cut off. It's like a little bit out of context. She's just wild, and so I'll just probably put her back for now. This is chaotic. There's some kind of balance in there, but I just don't know what text to write, and I've run out of brain now, so I need to go and actually have an appointment. So I've got to go somewhere. That border, that was interesting. Kind of like this weird thing. So maybe I change my mind and I get rid of this border, and then maybe I bring this in. So instead of, like, this is kind of like what I did, I guess, in mine. Had that front piece so that your writing can be a bit clearer, and then you can, I think this is a video. No, that's not gonna work. Graphics, photos, maybe something colorful, fireworks. I don't know. Don't you want to go in there? Layer, send it to the back. I can't understand why. Oh, transparency. So I'm just trying to put something on the back. Make sure that the back is highlighted. Layer. Doesn't want to go on the back. Huh. Okay. Layer to the front. Right, I have lost control. It is on the back. Okay. Okay, that's a nightmare. Ah, because it's just a graphic. Okay. Undo. Undo, undo, undo. See this little undo button? That's a good one. Okay, that's because when we did this, that's just some weird image that I didn't really like. So I'm just deleting that. Now what I can do is go back to the elements and just bring in a square. And you can see, like, it's already trying to line it up for me as you're moving around. And I'm going to move, layer it to the back, and it's going to go behind everything. And then I can go to uploads, and maybe I'll just find a photo again. That texture's kind of cool. I'm gonna put that, it's just rocks. Send it to the back behind everything. Oh, this is chaotic. This is chaotic. But I mean, I do want to show, I guess this is the journey. This is a journey you can go on. You're just looking and moving things around, for balance. Now we have a mandala with wings. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thought about that? I didn't think about a mandala with wings. Make it make sense. We might change the color. Why is it that color? I don't know. Okay, see how we got photo colors again? So I can go and choose something relative to the photo we've just put in the back. I quite like the dark one. Also quite like the stony taupe one. What does white look like on this? Huh. I think this just needs to look, I know it's just gobbledygook, but kind of trying to put it into threes, like make it a little bit more noticeable. That's why those like little partition thingies were good. So if we were going to do that, those little partitions, I would make sure that each line was actually like separate, so not one piece of text together, but 3 text boxes, because then you can go and, again, we're going to elements. Got all these cupids now. What's this? I don't like that. I don't know. It's like, is that a lemon? That's cute, but it's not what I want. Come on, Natalie. You don't need sketch fruit. Can you tell I'm a lover? Just put a heart in there. You can just resize them. You can use these as partitions. Like I've got those. And then again, you can just, once it's in there, you can sort of duplicate it and then just line it up. You just highlight things and move them around. Three, 5, 4. I usually am using like a bigger screen connected, but because I'm recording this, I'm using my little laptop. I wouldn't say this is a great well-spaced necessarily, but oh my god. You really can't you can't go wrong. Alright, they're stupid too. So see what I mean? This is what I do all day. Line. Make it little. Does it have to be a big line? Why is it so big? Can it be littler? Literally. Is it? I don't get it. Literally. I don't know why the other one wasn't going smaller. Kazakhstan. Go back. Pick up the right thing. It does get tiring for sure. These don't seem centered to me. You guys are probably watching this thinking, what the fuck? Okay, I'm about out of juice. I'm gonna go have a juice. Gonna get some juice to be less out of juice. I don't know. They just don't seem lined up to me. Ugh. could also just be because the words are really short. Honestly, I've just got nothing left. I'm like, words, tell me more, fix me. Yeah. So eventually, it's time to put things down. That's what it's time to do. It's time to put things down. It's been a terrible video. So thank you for watching. Look, you see where I'm going. Those ones worked. So what I can do, and see, you might also learn something about me too. Like when I say I'm gonna stop, I never stop. But literally, so I'll just get rid of all of these, because I can see these ones worked better. Group. Now, as a group, I can copy the whole thing, scroll down, click on here, paste. Ya feel? If I want to, I can change the color of the lines. Maybe I'll make them still part of the photo colors. Okay. Maybe they're just not big enough. My God, they're also small. Now you will have this trouble less because you'll know what you want to write in there. Keep it simple, go in threes. All right, bye. I'm definitely gonna go now. Definitely gonna go. I'm gonna fix my hair. Okay, bye.